Greetings, I'm Smithers, and we're back on the Tier Maker website. Things have changed a little bit differently since the last time I was here. I see it's riddled with ads, and I couldn't get on here without my ad blocker turned off. But I'm back on here to fulfill my promise in the first video I made doing this. My NR 2008 season has concluded, and we had a hell of a finish to the end of the season. I won't spill the beans and spoil too much if you haven't seen it, but just to give a little bit of a hint, photo finish and chaos. If we go over up here to my account, and we go over to what I've created, I went ahead and made another list for you guys that you can play yourself. I made these public on the site. Same scenario as the first time. I tried to pick at least 3 schemes from each full-time driver from 2008. Some of the drivers might have gotten a special treatment and gotten even more paint schemes. That's just because I couldn't decide on just 3 and they're too good not to talk about. Alright, so here's the second tier list made up, and you can see a little bit of some of the schemes that I've got listed there in the first like 15 cars numerical order. But to go through the first 5 categories of like top to bottom, best to worst, we're gonna start out. I rename these differently than the first time because I'm trying to, you know, reshamble, keep it fresh every time. Now at the top of the tier list, we have a vinyl succubus. These are paint schemes that suck you in, gonna lock you in. You're looking at them real good, real hard. They've got a lot of detail on them. Some are gonna be flashy, some are just gonna have great color combinations. Most of these are gonna be the iconic paint schemes of 2008. After that, in the next category, we've got that's fire. This is the category in the slot for the next best paint schemes that I thought of were, you know, not quite the best, but they're pretty damn good schemes that I liked. Also diecast that I maybe want to collect one day if I can ever get like a room full of these things. Set in a sports bar type setting, but filled with racing stuff. Full of NASCAR merchandise. Now in the middle of the tier list, this category is named pretty obviously. These paint schemes were looking good. I liked them, but they didn't wow me. The sponsors could have done a bit more. The graphic designer could have maybe thrown in a little bit more onto the race car. Some of these might even be schemes that never changed from the 2007 season. Some of them are still iconic and sexy, but I gotta say, not all of them flash the same on the COT cars as they did on the old Gen 4 car. Next, following after that category, we've got from the perspective of the artists themselves. I did what I could, boss, which again, these are schemes that are probably more basic, more redesigns of the previous year. There's nothing wrong with keeping a traditional paint scheme if it holds iconic value, but I do love when sponsors give a fresh look for each season, kind of like what the Napa cars did, or back in these days, what Crown Royal did with Jamie McMurray. And last on this paint scheme tier maker list for 2008 is paint schemes that I just want to see off the track. These schemes are ugly and they make me want to freaking rip my eyes out. Schemes that didn't work with the COT car, maybe schemes that transferred from the Gen 4 to the COT car that just looked worse. And all around again, if it's basic and it didn't fulfill kind of the space on the race car and just lacking the detail to give me something to look at. As before, and as we will continue on for every one of these videos, I will start this out in numerical order. That means Michael McDowell is up first in the Aaron's Dream Machine, and he has a very similar scheme to what he did last season. This 00 did not change very much. It does have, I believe, a bit of a darker blue to the roof and more of the blue filled in. I do again like the Aaron's Dream Machine colors, the white, the dark blue, and then the orange 00 popping out. That's pretty fire. It does not look as good as the 2009 Aaron's Dream Machine looks with the clouds and some of the extra little like gold, I don't know what talons that they have, tassels going across the car, and then that 00 popping as well. Looks a little bit better. I also threw in his Napa Auto Parts 00 scheme that ran a little bit throughout my 2008 season. It was looking good. I like the colors, but it didn't wow me. It looks very similar to Michael Waltrip's 55 car, which I mean obviously it's for the same team, so they probably just number swapped it, did it as cheaply as they possibly could. Up next we have Reagan Smith and the 01 Dale Earnhardt Incorporated. One of the last times you'll ever see these cars running. This car at least will not be next season. I think he goes to the 78 car for Furniture Row Racing. Starting off with his Pinnacle / DEI on the hood. This is probably my favorite version of the Pinnacle car. This is gonna go in the I did what I could boss. Like it's okay, but it doesn't make me want to rip my eyes out. The DEIE on the side of it looks really good, and then the Pinnacle, like I guess character that they had for the commercials, having him on the side, it really helped out this paint scheme and amplified it a little bit, giving it that little bit more pop, especially when I guess they had him on the hood too, but I like the DEI logo on the hood more. Up next is his Coors Light paint scheme, and I thought this was pretty cool. I'm gonna say it's gonna go into the looking good category, and I know we're kind of being again generous here with some basic schemes. We'll see. We'll get through some things that are gonna probably shock you on what's gonna be ripping my eyes out. But I do like the Coors Light logo on race cars. I love the silver bullet, the number 40. I do wish they would have added a little bit more mountains on this race car, but having the red DEI number E/ across the side of the race car looked pretty good. Helped balance everything out. Next is the 02 of Joey Logano making his part-time starts in the 2008 season. He also ran the 96 car with the same paint scheme, but I'm only bringing out the 02 car. It is exactly similar to my favorite driver Tony Stewart's scheme of this season, except literally inverted colors and the numbers are swapped, and I thought it was like the coolest shit ever when I was watching this as a kid. This is gonna go up into the A. It's pretty fire. Doesn't quite suck me in. The orange base kind of sucks me in a little bit more, but I love when sponsors and like schemes inverted their colors. So we have old Clint Boyer, Mr. Entertainment himself up there in the Fox booth. Ain't that right? Nah, it's been atrocious with him up there. I'm starting to get tired of Boyer's voice in the Fox booth. That's just my opinion, but getting back to looking at his schemes from almost 20 years ago. The Jack Daniels black car with the 07. Honestly, I'm not gonna be as nice to it this year. It's gonna go in the looking good, but it did not wow me because very similar. Does have like the little extra details I was talking about in the last time I did this video, but these Jack Daniels schemes didn't really wow me. I mean, it was just a basic black car with the logo slapped across the hood. Also similar schemes running from last season. DirecTV going on the COT car. Doesn't look bad, especially with the Jack Daniels font for the 07, but honestly it could have used a bit of a, I don't know, a different flash. Moving over to the BB&T car, the 07, this is one of his third secondary paint schemes, and I'm not gonna lie, with this maroon red looking color, I just never fell in love with this thing. It looked like, it literally looked like just the business that it was representing. Pretty bland. It's gonna go down here. Makes me want to rip my eyes out. Feels like I'm gonna go dressed up in a suit, going into a bank or something to take out a loan. I'm sure this next driver is out on a fishing boat somewhere right now, but Martin Truex Jr. in his Bass Pro's #1 Chevrolet, also for DEI, ran very similar to what it was last season, but I can't help but love the bright orange on a black race car with the Bass Pro Shops logo. It's a scheme I like, it looks good, and it's pretty fire. A scheme that always stays fire. Bass Pro Shops does amazing. They have great graphic artists, and they really care about what their cars look like. We have Kurt Busch, the man who nearly won my 2008 championship on NR 2003. The blue Deuce Miller Lite paint scheme looked very similar, other than having that white stripe on the bottom. It has a lighter blue stripe, and also had some shiny blue rims to match it, which I did like that little extra detail. That might give it some bonus points here going onto the category list. And the glossiness of that blue. I cannot get over how that shines under lights or in the sunlight. This car, it's fire to me. The 2 car, I don't remember where I put it in which category last season. It is a pretty fire paint scheme. I love the blue Deuce, and it only gets better here in the years to come, especially when they start adding like the beer bottle pouring out on the side of the car. Now we have a driver who spent just a very short little time in this 5 car. 1 year in, 1 year out, moving on to another team next season, going to RCR, taking over the 07, and Clint Boyer is moving to a 4th RCR team, driving the 33 car, and those moves are happening because you did not see this 4th Hendrick car near the front whatsoever. He had a couple of good runs at the start of the season, and he just disappeared after that. These are really good schemes, very similar to what Kyle Busch ran. Nothing changed. Bright, vibrant, everything that a NASCAR stock car is representing, I guess. Under the lights, it pops. Speaking of pops, let's start off with the Pop-Tarts car. Why not? I really liked this. The whole top of the car was offset to the side of the car. I liked that as a kid. It was different than what normally being seen for the last 3 or 4 years. I'm going to throw this in the A. It's looking good, but after seeing the same number 5 scheme for a certain amount of years, didn't wow me. Also with Tony the Tiger up on the hood, I like seeing his face there. It did not wow me again after going into it for like the 2nd or 3rd season. Now we have David Reagan driving the number 6 for Roush Fenway Racing, who was the team that won the championship. Did mention earlier driver Matt Kenseth was the one who grabbed that. This is the last year that AAA was the full-time sponsor for the 6 car, as it will be UPS going into 2009, and I'm not gonna lie, some of the UPS schemes look pretty good compared to what these did. All of these are exactly similar to the previous year. I like the red, white, and blue, but the way that they throw it together onto the race car makes it feel too businessy, especially with this middle one. It's going down. It is too bland. I don't know. Some people might like this, and if you do, that's okay. These videos are for me to fully just vent my opinion on every single paint scheme that I am looking at. Let's chalk through these next 2 really quick. Boring and mega boring. they all make me want to rip my eyes out. I'm going to give much more credit to the UPS schemes moving forward because I do like the way that those went. Moving on to Robbie Gordon here in the number 7 Dodge. I only threw up 3 paint schemes, but this man had a different paint scheme running every single week. Threw up the similar Valvoline scheme that I run in my number 10 car, but I liked the Jim Beam edition. A little bit of a crossover. I wish I could have slapped that sponsor onto my 10 car, but nope, that's old Robbie's sponsor there. He's been keeping them in stock and that surplus going for a while. I really do like this Valvoline scheme. It doesn't matter what number is slapped on it, though the Everham font does make it look a little bit better. So this is gonna be into the pretty fire category. And then again, I slapped the Jim Beam with the Valvoline on the side of the car because I thought it was quirky and fun. This Jim Beam car, it's cool, but I don't know, the flames are cool. It's just something that I didn't attract to as much. Swooping back over to the DEI garage with the number 8, the famous 8, the Army Chevrolet driven by Mark Martin and part-time Eric Almirola, which in my NR 2008 season, it was full-time Mark Martin. Once again, not ripping on any of our armed forces throughout the United States, but this US Army car, I cannot stand it. I mentioned in the other tier list video whose I thought was the greatest, and this one just did not do it for me. I understand that it's a DEI car, and the DEI cars kept the E along the door, but it definitely robbed the space of like the US Army star and some things that used to be on that scheme that I love. And then the only thing that I found on Jayski's website, which is where I've gotten all these schemes from, I did not mention that at the beginning of the video, and I'm sorry. Credit goes to Jayski's Silly Season site for all of these schemes that I have picked out for this tier list and the 2007 tier list as well. Mark Martin and Eric Almirola's second scheme was the steak burger. It was a little bit flashier. I thought it was pretty cool. Very awkward for the 8 car. Did not fit the 8's vibe where it wasn't one solid color, but I liked it. It was quirky, it was vibrant, it was different, it's looking good, but it did not wow me like any of these schemes up in this pretty fire scheme. And there has been nothing yet going into the vinyl succubus. I'm trying to be a little bit less kind this video. We're going to be getting into some here soon though. Coming up next, my teammate Casey Kane, who definitely would have outdid me in any beauty contest, but for paint schemes, it goes in the A pretty fire category because it is the iconic Budweiser red car. The Everham number 9 completes it. Kane drove it, and I have just like a really good memory when he won the All-Star race. And now, now, the number 10 Valvoline driver for Smithers NR 2008 season. Now this car this season gave me some pretty good paint schemes. I'm not gonna lie, they weren't my favorite out of, you know, what I may have coming up for next season when I've switched to the 43 car. Gonna have a shit ton of schemes to pick out. This Valvoline car is gonna be near and dear to my heart. It's fire. It isn't a succubus. It didn't, you know, draw me in when I was watching the sport through my television. Definitely fell in love with the scheme while I was around the car a lot more. This LifeLock scheme, it looked pretty good. Did not wow me. Same with the Cintas scheme. They're all, you know, not perfect sponsors to throw some flashiness on. I mean, they look good with the designs that they threw on, the jaggedness. They look like race cars. It all comes down to the sponsor sometimes with how I'm judging these cars. I do like Hamlin's FedEx schemes a little bit more once they get into the COT era. They add, you know, the red little stripe or flare going down the door and the red splitter or the different colored splitter depending on what FedEx option thing it was. They're gonna go into the did what I could. It's probably gonna move up a category, and this Kinko's one is gonna go into the looking good but didn't wow me because I love the little logo for the Kinko's on the hood, and the blue is always gonna be favorable. That's my favorite color. It looks good on race cars too. Next is Newman's Altel Dodge, and this thing popped out too just as much as his teammates. Same thing as last year. Gonna put them right next to each other, going into the pretty fire category. And his Kodiak car looked good as well. Did not wow me because it had kind of the similar style, I guess. I mean, I liked that they did that and swapped the colors out for Kodiak, but a car that, you know, a scheme that didn't wow me as much as this scheme. This special scheme right here, the Mummy. I have the actual die cast of this Mummy car, so I want a Tomb of the Dragon Emperor. I couldn't remember which Mummy movie it was, and it is a succubus of a paint scheme. I believe it was ran at Chicagoland. Freaking Brendan Fraser was there too, giving the start of the command. It was a whole big deal. And finally, after getting through 12 cars, we finally hit our first succubus vinyl wrap on a race car. I'm gonna make this real quick and snappy. Paul Menard schemes, it just depends on the hood. It looks the same. Greg Biffle's 3M Ford Fusion for Rush Fenway did not really run at all except for the last 2 races of my season because I forgot to slap her in here, but this scheme is pretty fire. I do like the white and then the almost sunset haze that comes off the bottom of the car. Colors are bleeding down the car as it's racing down the track. His disc scheme, I did not like these. Makes me want to rip my eyes out. The Jackson Hewitt car, red and black, I do not like well together on a race car. With some of the way that some of these schemes work out, just they do not jip with my jab when it comes to my eye sockets. Our 2008 NR Smithers champion, Matt Kenseth, and his famous DeWalt black and yellow scheme, not his iconic one from his earlier days. This is more of a detailed one. I did like this COT car. It is gonna go into the fire category. I really loved his Carhartt cars, also gonna go into the fire. I love the jagged metal, I guess, tearing through the side of the car. Seeing Matt Kenseth in black was just cool. His USG car I did not run at all really in the 2008 season, and it is even on the cover of the COT mod that I'm using, so shame on me for that. This paint scheme reminds me of Optimus Prime with the way that the blue is and the red flames going down it. I don't know if that's what they were going for with the time about when Transformers and all those Michael Bay movies were coming out. It looks good. Doesn't wow me though. This in no way is out of favoritism for the driver. This is literally because this was the sponsorship plug-in and they marketed it just right. Eminem's car, I mean, I was a bit of an older kid, I guess, when this car started popping out on the racetrack. I loved the Eminem's car and every version of it that came with the season. I'm just throwing that on top of it. This Indiana Jones Eminem's Kyle Busch paint scheme is absolutely one of my all-time favorites and an icon for any diecast collector's, you know, dreams. His pedigree scheme I really liked as well. It had the little doggy on the side of it and it had, you know, the cat and sometimes on the other side or a different dog. It was very vibrant as well, bright. I liked that they did like a diamond steel plate for the black or the dark blue, whatever they used for the center of the car. Kyle Busch was going to be hard to pick three schemes out of. He had a lot of good ones. The combos ones, it was good as well, but now that I'm looking at this one deeply, it did not have like the diamond plate all the way across the car as like later seasons. Also, like the Snickers car is going to go into the vinyl succubus because it had flames, it had the diamond like base, and I love Snickers. Going over my other teammate, Elliott Sadler in the number 19 and his paint schemes for the season. I do not have all of them that he ran, and he has definitely got more that I was not able to get. And there was one on here that I wish I had, but I cannot find anywhere for the life of me on NR 2003 to download. And since I'm talking about it, I might as well start with it, and that is this McDonald's Foundation paint scheme that he ran at, I believe, Atlanta or Texas at the end of the season. It was a special paint scheme. It's fire. For some reason, it struck me. I guess seeing the hands on the hood. I don't know, that I like seeing different graphics that I wouldn't normally see sprung out on the biggest part of the race car. His Best Buy scheme, I love the Best Buy colors, bright yellow, bright blue. It strikes the right nerve with me. And so does the Stanley car because it is riddled with flames from the front to the side. It's like the damn grill caught on fire, or he ran into an explosive barrel and that's the aftermath of it. Now we've got old Smoke Tony Stewart in the final time that he's in the 20 car. This is a little bit biased because he is my favorite driver, and I did like when there was some more black added to the bright orange number 20. And his Subway car, this thing's part of a controversial moment of the 2008 Talladega race. It is a vinyl succubus to me, slightly because it is Stewart's number 20 car, but the colors just work pretty well. It is bright yellow, and then they have Home Depot on the side of it too, which is kind of a nice little flare. This car was split between Marcos Ambrose and Bill Elliott, but I ran Marcos Ambrose for majority of the season. His Honey Buns car with the bronze base, I mean, it had a lot of sponsorships going on, but it's got a nice little honey bun on the car, but it didn't wow me for a race car paint scheme. Same with this Motorola car, or Motorola? That is not what that is. That is not a cell phone company. That's Motorcraft. Ford sponsoring the Ford Wood Brothers 21 Ford, but I didn't like the scheme too much. Again, black and red, splitting the car in half like that just isn't something for me. What also isn't something for me is yellow and black split along the side of the race car, especially with not too much added with it, and that is Dave Blaney's number 22 Cat Machine. I'm not gonna lie, there's some better schemes, like Tyler Reddick's 8 car. Not like his basic one went from a yellow to a black fade, but like when they started adding like some of the special equipment for one-off races. So this basic primary cat scheme for Dave Blaney is also going to go into the Did What I Could boss. For the final season, Jeff Gordon is running the red and blue flamed DuPont Chevrolet. It'll be a black base next season for 2009 with, you know, a fade to orange to yellow flames going down the car, which honestly I think looks a lot better. I mean, I love the traditional Jeff Gordon car as much as every other Jeff Gordon fan does, but if I were to pick out of all of them, 2014 one's the best one. I love this scheme though, it is iconic, it is beautiful, and that goes for literally every single one of these flamed 24 schemes, especially the Pepsi one, and then this Nicorette one that was different and blended in with the DuPont. Now we've got Brad Keselowski with the first GoDaddy scheme, primary scheme that hit the track. I like it a lot better when it had the bright green primary. It didn't wow me though. See a lot of these pretty mid for 2008 as far as what we're looking at about halfway through the schemes we've got here. Let's take a quick peek, and that's what we got left so far. Trying to get through it as best as I can. Got a lot more than I think I did last season, definitely. Jamie McMurray's Crown Royal scheme, I mentioned before, these are very fire schemes, and it's a little bit very differently than last year. Gonna go right up here with some of his Roush teammates. I love what Matt Kenseth's cars look like, and in future seasons. The Irwin Tools car, just like last season, didn't change too much, but it is still very fire. Gonna throw that into the that's fire category. Now we've got the 28 for, I believe, Robert Yates Racing. Yeah, these schemes I did not pay attention to too much. He also had a shit ton going throughout the season, just like Robbie Gordon, but I tried to pick some interesting ones. We got K&N, which I liked, was basic with what provided, but K&N filters is something I've used myself, and I just liked the bright orange on the black. Then we've got a race car designed as a California highway patrolman. It's gonna go up here in the pretty fire category. I think that was a pretty neat idea. Now we're dipping into the toes of the RCR camp. Richard Childers starting off with the 29. Kevin Harvick, the Shell Pennzoil. This car does not change a bit for quite a few years. It does look okay, but at this point it was starting not to wow me. I was just like, oh cool, it's Harvick. Just like how Joey Logano's 22 car stayed very similar for so many years until he got rid of like the 3 stripes down the door. Although his primary scheme might not, favor me too much, his Shell Pennzoil Platinum car was a vinyl succubus for me because I loved the silver or the gray and then the blue just color fading and making it look like liquid, the whole car liquid. I thought it was so cool. One of the other ones that comes to mind is Joey Logano and his Pennzoil Platinum cars around the early Gen 6 era. Next we've got the AT&T car that it finally, their sponsorship got their shit figured out, but the Sprint Mobile took over the main sponsorship of NASCAR for the Cup Series, so they were pushing out other cell phone companies away from the sport. This car nonetheless though is pretty good. It's bright orange and it's black. I did like it. It's gonna go into the fire category, though I did not like Jeff Burton as a driver too much. Too serious for me. I don't know, which isn't bad in a race car driver. My philosophy on who I like and who I don't like as drivers is so layered. The Olympics crossover was really cool. I thought it was fires too, having at least some of the stars or represented athletes on the side of the car along with the Olympic rings was great. Fantastic. 31 Prodasec OTC car, also a very fire paint scheme. I love purple on a race car and then having white electricity going down the side of it. That is literally icing on the cake. Electrifying paint scheme. Now I've got the 38 of Gillen, freecreditreport.com car. Just seeing this car, the commercial, the catchphrase, the jingles in my head, the FREE.
That spells freecreditreport.com, baby.
I am not sponsored by them whatsoever. I don't even know if they exist as a company anymore. I didn't get paid to say that. It's just stuck in my head. The paint scheme though, it's pretty bland. It's gonna go into the pretty bland category. Look at that. It looks just like the 28 car if it was black. Now the City Financial paint scheme, this stayed the same across no matter who drove it, whether it was a Roush driver in the Nationwide Series or thrown into a Cup car. Did not wow me. I like the blue, the silver, and the red. That is a great mesh of colors for a race car. I saw it so much in the Nationwide Series with Ricky Stenhouse and McMurray and Biffle and Kenseth and all those guys that I was just tired of seeing it. I don't know. We're getting into the 40s and we got just about 3 rows left, so we're getting through this thing, and some of these schemes I'm gonna be able to make some bigger decisions or easier decisions than others. Like the 40 Fastenal car. Great colors because I'm a fan of blue cars, but it did not wow me. It's gonna go right in here. Looks very similar to the Wood Brothers 21 or like Clint Boyer's DirecTV car. Didn't pop out as much as some of the newer Fastenal schemes. Guitar Hero Aerosmith, these Guitar Hero schemes, especially next season when the 8 car and the 1 car get them, those are already going to be up at the top, telling you right now. Guitar Hero, one of my favorite video games growing up as a kid. It was only the beginning of a lifetime addiction of fiddling with strings on guitars, and now I've got like a shit ton of instruments within my house. I threw this in here because it was game related. Wii Fit. I had Greg Biffle's Wii scheme on here for the 2007 one. This looks pretty fire, even though it looks like I'm about ready to go out and do some yoga next to a race car. I still like it. The green and the white, it looks nice. And the red target on the hood, even though that one's a little bit smaller, his teammate Reed Sorensen in this 41 car had the big one, and it is going to go into the looking good category because this 41 scheme is very similar as it always been. Montoya had 3 schemes this year, and they definitely took a turn downwards from last season. The big red car used to have more detail. It had like the black with the red flames going in the middle of it. This is just plain red with like some little bit of flames. I didn't like it. I'm gonna say did what I could. Same with the Juicy Fruit car. No detail. Could have added a pack of gum somewhere on it at least, or a stick of gum. And then this primary Texaco Havoline colors. I do like the black, and then it was like a matte black if I remember right on the 42 car. Onto the iconic Richard Petty number 43 machine. Just one paint scheme for NR 2003. He had, I guess, a couple others, but the Speed Racer one I ran I think a couple of times at the beginning, but after that I pretty much just stuck with the Hamburger Helper Cheerios machine because that was his primary, and they have colors popping. I know last time I was really ramping on the ones with the multi-cereals all over the same car. It did a little bit better, so I'm gonna put it in the looking good category. It's gonna get a step up from what it did last time. Now we've got the UPS Michael Waltrip Racing number 44. Looked again similar to last season. I am gonna put this in the did what I could boss. This gets a refresher when it gets rebranded over to the 6 car for David Reagan. Having brown as a primary base with some of the yellow looks better. Like this Kentucky Derby 44 car, I think it will go in the A. That's pretty fire because it was a special paint scheme. Kyle Petty once again brought the banks with him as far as paint schemes go, and they are lackluster. Again, this Wells Fargo scheme does not catch my eye. It does not wow me. It makes me want to rip my eyes out. I'm throwing it down at the bottom. I'm not gonna lie, not even the horse carriage could save this scheme. This American ethanol marathon car looks like it fits better than anything. Doesn't make me want to rip my eyes out, and it's gonna go in the looking good category. And this Richard Petty Experience scheme that was used for all the subscribers that had a chance to run it in my cup season for 2008. It's grown an attachment to me. It is gonna go the A. That's pretty fire. It's a scheme that has a lot of meaning behind it, both with Richard Petty Motorsports itself and then my channel with sharing the ride with some of you guys. I will never take anything away from Johnson and what he has accomplished in this, but he has gotten his streak broken in my series pretty quickly. His schemes though looked very similar to 2007. I love the Cobalt scheme. The black and the silver is a vinyl succubus. Again, ever since the Texas race at 2007 when he beat Matt Kenseth, I believe, but ever since that race I fell in love with this Lowe's Cobalt scheme. This Lowe's 48 car, it is also pretty fire, but once he gets to the 2009 scheme, that is also one of my favorite Jimmy schemes. Rapid fire here. Michael Waltrip Racing 55 stayed the same. It's gonna go down, and did not wow me. I believe that's where I put the 00. His teammate, yep, next season I also know that scheme gets an upgrade and it looks pretty good with the orange red fade splash going on where the numbers at. Haas Racing, just disappointment. I'm not gonna lie. State water heaters and then the Haas car. Land, slow cars, need improvement all around. Into the final row finally, I'm Sam Hornish Jr. This Mobile One scheme, it's been fire since Jeremy Mayfield's driven it. Gonna be fire moving forward until it hit a next gen car when it was just plain white. Now we've got Furniture Row Racing's number 78, self-sponsored Chevrolet, and this is a little bit of an improvement from last season's design. I like the white base and the way that they worked the colors into the car. I don't know, something about the way that these colors are working fits better for me, so it's gonna go into the looking good category. When they switched to that matte black and just the bright orange 78, those were the days. Only got 5 more drivers left, and 2 of them are from the same team, basically spitting image paint schemes. That is the 83 and the 84 Red Bull cars, AJ Allmendinger and Brian Vickers. I love the Red Bull racing machines. These things are going to be up here in the vinyl succubus. The final Hendrick driver that we're going to be discussing, the 88 Dale Earnhardt Jr., and he had a bunch of paint schemes this season that I couldn't quite figure out, a top 3-4. They all stayed very similar design throughout the season, but the colors matched, and it was a nice refresh for Junior as he made the big move were also very iconic cars, and they were fire. The silver and the black for the 88 Junior, like, what is there to not like about this car? Absolutely fantastic. It looks intimidating, it looks sexy and sleek. It is going in a vinyl succubus. Threw the 96 DLP car in here because, you know, didn't want to forget about him. He was a full-time car that was entered into most of these races. I did what I could. I don't know. It didn't surprise me. One that I didn't like too much. I don't know. The colors, the bright neon green with the blue and the black, those are a great color combination for something, but DLP, our final driver, always going to be the last driver until he moves away from the 99 and into the 19. We're the same old traditional Office Depot scheme and Aflac looking exactly the same, but with the colors all swapped around to work with Aflac and the duck, which I actually did really like because the Office Depot scheme ran like every single week. That was iconic for Carl Edwards. It is looking good, but it does not wow me. It is, again, kind of just a basic red, white, and black scheme that I never really fell in love with. Carl Edwards growing up was one of my favorite drivers as well. He wasn't the favorite driver, but he was one of the ones I always rooted for. And before I carry on this video too much longer, let me throw on this Aflac car into the looking good category. It's gonna go in the higher end of looking good. Here we are, after going through just over 100 different pictures and schemes from the 2008 season. This is our second time doing a NASCAR paint scheme tier list. 2008, as I'm seeing, it really wasn't that great for pop and paint schemes. Like, they had two that I have always remembered iconically that I can easily flash back to, and that's the Indiana Jones M&M's car of Kyle Busch and the Return of the Dragon Emperor mummy car of Ryan Newman. 2009 is going to be fire for paint schemes. Please leave a like on this video if you guys have enjoyed. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what your favorite paint scheme from 2008 was. This 2008 tier list and the 2007 tier lists are available for public use. You guys can go and try these out yourselves. Let me know. Shoot me a DM somewhere on the socials what your tier list looks like from the paint schemes. That is going to do it for the tier maker for the 2008 tier list. It's going to be a lot bigger gap till you see 2009 because I will not be doing that another quite a few months till I get 36 races done, on top of 15 Nationwide Series races and on top of 10 Truck Series races, along with I got a subscriber series coming along the channel very soon. If you're new to the channel, don't know anything about that, just keep an eye out for something that says I need your help or major announcement. It'll be pretty obvious. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you have a good week, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace out.